Yeah, hello, hello, everyone from
Hello, hello.
Texas to India to Lagos and every other part of the world. Yeah, we are in for an exciting time today. Yeah, we have an awesome person that will be giving a keynote, and this is the occasion of the 24 hours online global conference by the Digital EdTech Network. And we are so fortunate to have Dr. Shyamal Majumdar. Dr. Shyamal is the immediate part head of the UNESCO Universe International Center in Bonn, Germany. So they have a whole lot of network of TVET under the UN, under the UNESCO as well. They have TVET under them, right? Across the world. They take the relative gospel of TVET across the world through that platform. And Shama, before leaving Universe, had been so wonderful, making impact across the world. And that's how I got to know him, because it was part of the impact that he was making that I was impacted too. And that's why I have a close relationship with him. So now we are glad to have Dr. Shyamal Majumdar. So Dr. Shyamal, you're welcome.
Thank you, John, for a wonderful, kind introduction. I'm not sure how much I'm really dynamic, but if I can influence dynamic person like you and Karen, that is enough for me to be proud of. And I'm really happy to see that 24 hours virtual conferences that you have organized, a unique idea. The sun never set or sun never rises, all the same. 24 hours you are around the globe. So very good idea. Thank you very much for your kind invitations.
Thank you so much, Shyamal. So
Yeah.
Karen, what do you have to say before we get off the show for Shyamal?
Oh, I am just, I'm pleased as punch, as we say in Texas. Just to be here and to meet all these international guests. And I'm very curious about the TVET program. And I guess we're going to hear from the best.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're going to pull aside while Shyamal give us the very best that he's known for. So Shyamal, your presentation is on. You can
Yeah.
go on screen and have the floor.
I'm going to hop
Thank
off.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, John, again. Thank you, Karen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and some part good night. Wonderful idea of 24 hours global conference, which makes world is one, people are one. We may live in different parts of the world, but as in humanity, we are facing the same challenge. It is indeed a great pleasure and honor for me to share my experiences in this virtual conferences. And perhaps you will agree with me that we are passing through a very challenging time. Whether you are in America, in Africa, in Asia, or in Latin America, everywhere the time is really challenging. Never we thought that I have to address you from my home, from Kolkata, India, virtually. Already I have done around 10 webinar in this time, and I was only thinking this is a new world, new challenge that we are addressing. We all know that this is the reason is the society is facing an unprecedented crisis due to the health problem, global health pandemic. TVET is no more, TVET means technical vocational education, is no more the same as before during pre-COVID time. I remember in the pre-COVID time, we used to say, if education is the key for development, technical vocational and education and training is the master key. Why we have said that? We say it because we know that skill for work, skill for employment was urgent necessary. Skill for sustainable development. You talk about anything in the world you want to do, 80% is about skill, skilling people. And that's why we say skill is the master key. With that idea, when we are talking about today's challenge, you will see every day worldwide TVET institution is addressing new challenges posed by the COVID, and thereby unknowingly transforming technical vocational education and training. So my first statement is TVET in the pre-COVID time, TVET in the post-COVID time will not be the same. What is that changes? To understand the changes, the title of my presentation is Transforming TVET in the Times of COVID. We all know that we are confronted by quadruple four major crises by COVID-19. The first crisis we can say is the health crisis. Let me check why I cannot able to yeah, it's running now. Yeah, first crisis is the health crisis. Second crisis we said is the learning crisis. The third crisis we have the economic crisis, and the fourth crisis is the mindset crisis. So we are confronted with four major crises. It started with the health, then immediately we have seen there was a learning crisis. Then now we are witnessing a massive economic crisis. And overall, there is a mindset crisis is going on. Each of these crises pose different challenge. Health crisis poses a different challenge. Learning crisis poses a different challenge. Economic crisis is posed a different challenge, and mindset crisis is giving us a different challenge. And each of the crises require innovative solution through technical vocational education and training. Before I say something, I will just like to narrate you that what the experience showing that how TVET institution has confronted health crisis, learning crisis, economic crisis, and mindset crisis. So let's take first the health crisis. You all know the massive 30 million people has been so far affected by coronavirus. Almost we lost 1 million people, almost. And in the front, there are many doctors, nurses, those we have lost initially because of lack of equipments. So worldwide, 30 million people has been affected. Nearly 1 million has been died. The key challenges was how to respond to a huge shortage of medical equipments, personal protective equipments, testing equipments, ventilators, all this thing, a big crisis. As government trying to respond to this crisis in different ways, technical vocational education cannot be silent spectator. And we have seen how TVET institution has responded to this crisis. So what are the innovative solutions they came up? The first thing is we have observed that using 3D printer, many TVET institution has designed new type of protective gears. One of the protective gears, the first time I've seen when I'm talking about 7 months back in Czechoslovakia, which they have built up like a snorkeling pattern type, which was a protective gear, but very effective. Like this, I have seen in many parts of the world, like Canada, some of the TVET institution has come up with portable ultrasound devices. In India, there are many test kits has been designed by the TVET institution. There are also many other testing calibration tools. Now, artificial intelligence used has been done in many, database and others things that happen, which is innovative solutions. Those who like to have the full report of all this thing, I have written a paper in LinkedIn. The paper is there in the link, and you will see country by country how they have responded to that. What lesson we have learned out of this? The first thing is we have converted TVET institution workshop into productive school. As you know, initially the huge crisis was because the global change was disrupted. Like Philippines, they don't produce PPE. They have nurses, health workers, all are being affected. So how they will meet up this challenge, because the global chain has been disrupted. So technical vocational institution called TESDA came up with some kind of solution that why not TVET institution, those who have got a workshop, turn it into a productive school. And we have seen in many parts of the world, this concept get quickly, minimize the gap, that productive school become possible in the TVET institution with medium and small scale industry. Second one, we have seen public-private community partnership was emerging. A lot of expectation was coming to the TVET institution, and TVET institution was trying to reach out to the private sector and community to fill the gap. So this is a new direction, transformation. We got it from technical vocational education to address the human crisis, the mankind crisis. This is not technology only for innovation. This is innovation to save the human life, I think, which is very, very important dimension. The second issue is learning crisis. We all know that you will be surprised. UNESCO has done a survey along with International Labour Organization. They have observed that 1.54 billion learners in 188 countries are out of school during this school closure, because of the lockdown, the school was closed. Because of the pandemic, no school has restarted. Europe, recently, some of the school has been restarted. So 1.54 billion learners in 188 countries are out of school. The question is how to bridge the sudden interruption in learning due to this closure. Can TVET come up with new kind of solution that this can be addressed through digital technology? This is the first challenge. What conditions need to be created in countries where technology development is lagging, particularly in developing countries, least developed countries? The internet connectivity is an issue. In some countries, they don't have the latest digital technology. So that's why how this digital divide can be minimized and we can address the issue, because we are forced by the event to take up this challenge. We know that there was a huge challenge to introduce online education in the developing country. But now you go anywhere in the world, people has realized there is no other way. This is the only way we can address. But they are not prepared because they have not given due attention earlier. But now is the scope. So for that reason, the solution came from the TVET institution is many countries follow mix of technology solution in least developed country and developing country. If we go by stereotype, that full-fledged online education, then only we can start, we will be in a wrong path. One size doesn't fit all. So we need to have a mixed type of technology where the distance learning and the domain with the WhatsApp, different mixed technology has reached out to address this stop of learning due to the closure. What are the lessons we have learned this process? Again, public-private partnership providing digital learning platform. I think if you search on Google, you will see that during this time, last 7 months, so much development has taken place on the digital platform. Unbelievable. There are different tools. Video conference tool has come. There are a lot of features are coming up. This is a time we have seen a havoc innovation has taken place in the digital learning platform. And this is another we have seen that even in the least developed country, they are combining different technological solution, which is no one size fits all. So that's also another learning we have learned, that wherever we are in different stage, we need to address this in different ways. The third issue that is the economic crisis. I think we all know unbelievable, economic crisis. Very recent data says that India GDP growth rate during the last 6 months is minus 23 or 24%. Can you imagine India has steady growth rate of 7 to 8% for last 7 years, suddenly dipped down to minus 24. America is also in a very GDP growth rate is very, very serious condition. UK. So almost practically all the countries are all in the negative except China, that is plus 3.2. But rest of the whole world, this economic crisis is slowly gripping in. But the question is, does TVET institution has a role to play in the economic crisis? Yes, TVET institution can play a role, and that's I like to share. And we see that how this TVET institution is doing. The first thing was there is a growing unemployment and extreme poverty. So we need to see that many people are losing job and many migrants are returning to their native places. So what will happen if we cannot create or we can address to this labor market issue seriously, then this unemployment will increase, poverty will increase. So many countries has come up with a stimulus package. But unfortunately, not all the countries has given due importance on the skilling people. But that's the real answer, how we can do it. Because the innovative solutions say that skill will play an important role in economic revival by skilling, upskilling, and reskilling program. Why I'm saying this? At the one side, you have a huge, dip in the economy, like when you say travel and tourism, you go to the manufacturing industry, hospitality. These are all the severely affected, and it will take a long time to recover. On the other hand, there are emerging occupation where there is a shortage of skill. Like when you talk about health workers, there is a shortage. When we are talking of paramedical staff, there is a shortage. When we talk about digital technology solution holder, there is a shortage. If you go on, carry on like this, you will observe there's a number of, economic, sectors where there is a scope, huge demand. So, and also the local economy is flourishing very much. The local needs, localization of skill is happening. So for that, you need to skill, you need to upskill and reskill program. I know some of the TVET institution has come up with the new type of program on healthcare, pandemic, food security, agriculture, digital, sustainability, disaster management, and greening TVET program. So one side you are losing job, on the other side there is an opportunity. The job will be created. So we need to really come up with the innovative solution like some of the TVET institution. What lesson that we have learned so far in that case? Healthcare worker and digital manpower is a huge shortage. And I think we need to address. And I have seen in many countries, we have neglected this VET in particularly in a health sector. So if the health system is weak, then vocational education is also weak. That has been shown. So I've seen the huge shortage of this because we didn't give adequate, importance in health sector within the vocational education. The second is we need to focus on local needs, and sustainability requirement will be on the rise. So therefore, we need to do much more innovative solution to do the requirement analysis in the local. This local has to be vocal. And this local is different in different countries. When you say in India or in Africa, 80% of the people live in rural villages. and their local is a different. Climatic change has a devastating effect on farming, organic farming, vertical farming, precision farming, drone technology. I can name it number of technology they can be used where the local needs can be addressed. Vermipose traditional way, biofuel on the other side, solar energy, these are all one kind of local needs. But same thing is not valid for developed country. For most of the Europe and developed country, the local needs they usually define on the digital term because 5G, how they can take it to the remotest places. But there is a common thing that you need to identify the local needs and sustainability requirement. My next issue is the mindset crisis. I think this is the most important crisis because, in my opinion, in the last century, we have done a lot of good work, no doubt about it. But we have also done a huge damage to this Earth planet. Development agenda, if you see in the past, has given very limited attention to social and environmental dimension. We have not given environmental dimension at all a due importance in our childhood. I still remember my school days when we are talking about any design, it is always like ppm, productivity per minute. Nobody question us how we are, what is the environment here? Is this design is in harmony with your environment? Are we addressing the social divide issues? So these are not being addressed. And today, whatever pandemic has come up, one of the things we have not given due importance to biodiversity, and which we are now paying the penalty out of it. So post-COVID recovery, therefore, is calling to everyone in technical, vocational, in general education to reset our innovative mind. Our innovative mind, too much emphasis on technological innovation. We didn't give much more importance to social innovation, environmental innovation, or even we call it, applied innovation. The whole thing we need to take up with a new agenda: sustainable development, biodiversity, inclusive growth, health, lifestyle values and education, and peace education. All has to be, reset the post-COVID, and we need to have new Tibet, transform Tibet, not stereotype, traditional way, just look the industrial sector, not look the holistically in integrated way. What is the lesson we have learned from it? We need a enhanced Tibet in India. We call it greening Tibet, entrepreneurial Tibet, and digital Tibet. I explained greening and digital one extensively. What is I have not talked about is the entrepreneurial Tibet. Why I'm saying this is important? Like this pandemic has shown that suddenly some of the challenges are coming, which we never thought. We have no idea, but we have to address that. That's why we need a risk-taking entrepreneurial character, and that need to be inbuilt with the technical and vocational education. We need to change the way we think and act. We need to question. We need to really ask ourselves, any action we take, what is the impact on economically, socially, and environmentally, not just economically. So that's the new way we have to start and reset our post-COVID recovery. What will be the new normal in this situation? I mean, what is going to be happen? We don't know, just an idea. The first thing will be blended learning will be new normal. The issue that has been set by the world today, that face-to-face, only face-to-face education or institution will not going to stay. The blended learning will be the new normal. One way we have to see the combination of both face-to-face and away from the face-to-face. And that blended learning will be a better learning outcome. more engageful, more you can have an interaction, and that's the one of the thing is going to happen. The second one, remote and digital working will be a standard practice. Like in a workplace, we have a remote and digital working is almost standard. Google Google has already declared that almost 80 to 90% of the employees now on remote. In many schools, we know it is online education is the way forward. When the school will reopen, this online education will stay in combination like a blended learning. So remote and digital working will be the standard practice. Safe school, connected school, and smart school will be the new mantra. That means hygiene will be a very important. Whether school environment is safe, that will be one direction. Whether the school is connected in terms of both digital connection and social connections. The third thing, the school must be smart school with an entrepreneurial character. This will be the new mantra. Transition to green society will be a top priority. So that's why greening TVET will be the agenda that will be set in. So that's why we need to check up that whether whatever we are doing, whether it is harming the environment or not. Skilling, upskilling, and reskilling will be the top priority. Skilling means the new skill I'm talking. So when you are talking about new type of subject you are introducing, like food security, or in the field of testing, or in the field of health worker, that is skilling. Upskilling is more like you add on like few more skill. And one of the upskilling program which is getting very popular is how to integrate COVID certificate in across the occupation. Now, those who are plumber, technician, or any service sector, one top priority of the people is now they like to see whether they adhere the hygiene properly, whether they are keeping safe, whether they are wearing proper protective gears. Why it is important? The people are more concerned about life. So that's why if you are a plumber, technician, auto mechanic, service sector, or health service boy, whatever, the first guarantee they will see that whether you are concerned with this, hygiene practices. So upskilling, top-up skill is coming up now and become mandatory that whether they will be engaging you or not. Reskilling is a phenomena by which we say that you need to entirely change the skill because the skill that you possess is no longer is necessary. So that's why people will not go to the like a coal based power station. It's need to be reskilled because renewable energy will be the top priority on this item. Biodiversity, life skill, and sustainable development lifestyle will going to stay. So that's we know that will be an important criteria. Sustainable development and localization will be a central agenda for the future. So that I have already spoke about. And the last but not the least, youth, I mean boys and girls both, will shape the future of the society because they are observing us very closely and they are going through a tremendous crisis. Everything get disturbed. I have seen many people without going to school and college for 7 months, no sports, no event joining, making them realizing that how to come back, bounce back. So that's why I will say youth will be the future of the society and they will be resilient much more on this aspect. What are the triggers of technical education or vocational excellence in the post-COVID recovery? Technical education will be act as a driver of social and applied innovation, not only technological innovation. TVET as a development vector for local and regional growth. When we talk about too much globalization, ignoring the local and regional growth will not going to stay. And the last is TVET is initiated to create a culture of bottom-up innovation and excellence. There should be a strong connect with technical education and local economy requirement. Any challenges that we face in the local level, we have to come up with bottom-up innovation and excellence. The result will be transformed TVET institution will contribute to innovation, employability, and social cohesion. Which institution will trigger vocational excellence in COVID-19? You have seen not all institution has acted equally. Those institution has done, we make a survey and we observed institutions that are adaptable, flexible, responsive, manage change, handle uncertainties, and human-centered. They have done good job during this time. Many TVET institutions get puzzled. They took a lot of time to think that they have a role to play. But many other institutions, they quickly respond, those who are more connected with the community and they are more responsive. So they get involved very quickly and took part in contributing in whatever way is possible. So what will drive innovation with skill ecosystem means we have to be connected with the skill ecosystem at the locality, with private sector, with community, with different type of providers, including higher education. We have to support local development and regional growth. We need to initiate excellence in teaching learning systems, and we need to specialize in digital, climatic change, and sustainable development. This last point, which I am referring, I'm not saying that every technical vocational institution has to have three expertise in digital, in climatic change, and sustainable development. No. Any one of them, you have to be vertically excellent. If you are three combined, you are the best. But even if you have to contribute in digital vertical, you can be excellent. On climatic change, you can be excellent. On sustainable development, you have to excellence to contribute effectively during this time. So that's why we said that if necessity is the mother of invention, scarcity is the mother of innovation. So now we have a lot of scarcity. We have seen in equipments, we have seen in testing, we have seen a lot of scarcities coming. So that is really pushing us for innovation, and that will be finally go to a new invention. Humanity should be at the core of innovation. It is not just innovation, but inclusive innovation. So we really need to connect with TVET school and innovation and local needs together, and you have to come a new type of institution altogether. So my final comment is that we need to transform TVET. That's why I say transforming TVET in the times of COVID. The major issue will be we need to think globally but act locally. When we are acting locally doesn't mean you have to be only narrowly focused. Your thinking will be SDG, Sustainable Development Goal. This 17 goal is valid for any country, whether you are in America, in Australia, Papua New Guinea, India, or in Fiji or Bhutan, doesn't matter. We are all, as a human, has a global challenge. We call it Sustainable Development Goal. So we need to think globally like this, that we have a world agenda and we need to implement it locally. Thinking globally and acting globally will not solve world problem. World is facing a new reality where divide is much more, and this divide need to be minimized. That's why we need to think globally and act globally. So that's why I have four action point we are talking about. Invest in transformative dimension. Transformative dimension means when we talk about any TVET agenda, we usually see one aspect is called economic dimension. That is how efficient is the TVET agenda is, that is economically, whether it is adhering to the labor market demand or not. This is one dimension. The second dimension is a social. Is technical education, whatever we are investing, is dividing more? Are we sensitive to the special group, disadvantaged group, gender, rural sector, even those who are aboriginal, and all these ideas should come on in the social dimension. But most seriously will be the transformational dimension, which will be on greening, on harmony, on biodiversity, and all these things coming up is a transformative dimension. So we need to invest much more on the transformative dimension of TVET. We need to expand our roots by empowering local community, and that will be very, very important factor for technical and vocational education, how much they are being embedded in the local community and connection will be there. The third thing is how we are going to widen our network and partnership. Basically, I used to say that you are most rich when you have a proper network and partnership. If you have a good partner, that means you are assured that you will get all kind of help. Like TVET institution, they must be connected. One platform is UNESCO Univoc, by which they are trying to engage as a network. There are other network also. So this network and partnership is the key. So you always have to be a connected one. Finally, I have an advice to all TVET, particularly the learners, that this is the time, utilize this time. I know you are all away from school for long, but utilize this time as an incubation period. Think seriously, reflect upon, try to do something. Don't be stereotyped. Ask yourself the question, why we have landed here? Where do we have done the mistake? Where we have to give in more importance, and how we can change ourselves. This is the most important. I used to say that we have to implement sustainable development goal. But who are sustainable development goal? People sometimes say that country has to implement, institution has to implement, but instead I will say you have to implement. If you don't implement personally, that's why you are sustainable development, and then it will be done. With this idea, my mission is now transforming rural village for the future through skill. I have started a project on developing sustainable model village using skill as a driver to address sustainable development goal in rural village in Sundarban in India, Bangladesh border. I choose the spot because that's a UNESCO heritage site. There is a huge flora and fauna, but at the same time, there is a climatic challenge. There is a huge economic challenge. The people are mostly migrating to different because there's a lack of job, lack of opportunity. So that's why we need to develop some work using skill as a driver, trying to address the climatic change, because saline water is not suitable for farming. But there are technology how to combat that. How solar energy can bring power to the remotest of the remote places. How drone technology can be used. How you can utilize geographical information system to predict the nature disaster kind of thing, and how you can protect yourself. These are the way forward, and I thought this is the best way we can learn, think globally, but act globally. I will be happy to partner with you and to have work together. Thank you very much, and I will be happy to take any questions you like to pose. Thank you. Over to John.
Yeah. Hello.
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 That was awesome. Karen, what do you think about the presentation?
Oh, I think it was awesome. It was very inspiring, and I never heard the suggest. I mean, just the bottom line and the very clear presentation. much more clear than I'm saying right now.
Yeah. So there were some very important points that Shyamal made, which the latest trends in TVET that is aligned with technology is so amazing that what people thought of TVET in the days before, it's no more what it is right now. And like when you talk about, so as every part of education is moving with technology, CVET is also moving, and it has to be in that front line. And that's very, very important. And that's one of those things that I've actually learned from his presentation. And yeah, so Shyamal, can you give, you already talked about collaboration networks and all that. And I was privileged to be at Spain in 2018, and I saw what they were doing at one of the institutes there. So you have seen quite a bit of several things that has actually been going across the world. Can you make mention of some that our listeners could actually try to search on the internet and see latest information and latest updates in TVET? Thank you.
Yeah. The first thing I appreciate your question that, when I was in Africa, you are in Nigeria, you will see that the problem of Africa is very similar to Asia, because you are a largely predominantly rural sectors, unorganized sectors, and Africa and Asia has a commonality on this both too. But there are few connections between these two, you know. Individually, some connections are there, but systemically, we can't see any connections on that. Because here we need to understand that this connection is very much fruitful. The way India or Philippines or Thailand or Korea has addressed their problem, they will see that some of the similarity, particularly in, I will say, South Asia, has a very much similarity with Africa. Now, on the other hand, when I was in Jamaica and I was traveling, I have also gone to Pacific region. There's a very, very similar nature. Pacific region and this Jamaica, Caribbean regions are all the same, because this is basically on water. They are living on the, island countries, and mainly, waterways. But there are a lot of solutions. These two zone can share their information. We need this kind of partnership. It's not just saying that north south block and this block political way. This is different. This is technical vocational education and training. We do not have to reinvent the wheel. We can really start from where you have left out, and we can learn from you, and you can learn from us. So that's why I will say that, truly speaking, in this age, you know donor recipient relationship is not partnership. This is donor and recipient model. What we need actually is peer to peer model. The peer to peer model respect each others, appreciate their learning, and share equally, and that will create a new world. I think we need to really address on this issue on that. And you rightly said, apart from this question, your comment, one thing I didn't touch too much on that is that pivot always has been aligned with dropouts, with less technology, with manual work. Those who have not done anything, could not able to do, they need to do this. Except few country in Europe, Tibet has a high status. Largely, it is a second-class citizen in education. Everybody want to be a white-collar job, going to university, lawyer, engineer. One thing we are ignoring now. Now we have to pay the penalty for that. Is that technology is changing very fast. Can you tell me one thing? When you talk about nanotechnology, what is the difference between a nano engineer and nanotechnician? Nanotechnician cannot be a manual. It needs to be a highly technological. Can you tell me a biotechnology? What is the difference? A biotechnology technician means you need to bio and the technology together. I can go on like ICT technology, mechatronics, space technology. World is changing. This is not the world like everything manual. More cognitive things are coming up. So we need to really think out of the box and say that this is a new technical vocational education is coming up where you need a foundation. You have to also be expert in technical skills, and there is a blurring the gap between the higher education and technical and vocational education. So that's why this is a new world we need to address in a new way. And this is no more second class citizen. It is a mainstream education, and we need to find a way called vertical mobility. And this is like a applied university, go up, go beyond level 5, go to level 6, level 7 program like bachelor's and master's in technical and vocational education.
That is awesome. That presentation. Okay, I'm reading something here. Karen, can you get what's on the screen? Uh, Someone made a comment. TVET is really embedded, both knowing
Both.
as well as on. Okay, both knowingly as well as unknowingly, and it's important to
Important. It's quite
exactly.
high.
Right, right.
Yeah. Now, one of the key words that Shyamal mentioned, which is very very important to me, and what I do love to foster now is the peer-to-peer relationship. Yeah, and it's the pathway for growth in the from now on to the future. Uh, it can say that 1 billion times again, and I'll say, yeah, so you're correct, because now everybody they understand that everybody has something to offer and everybody has something to bring to the table is really really key to really bring the best out of everybody. Ownership should not be that, oh, it should not be a dichotomy and yeah, we own something, you are slaves to something like that. But it should be that, yeah, you bring your own part. Whatever you are able to bring is so much as important as what any other person is definitely going to bring. And that's the language that should really roar across the world right now. I really appreciate that. Karen, what do you think?
Shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
team. I mean, that to me, that's team. That gets the
yeah,
job done.
exactly, exactly. Like what I would just quickly add to that again right now is like this project is being done. Karen is in Texas. I'm in Lagos, and we have collaborators across Africa, Europe, that and Asia that we're working together to actually get these things done. Yeah, I have Kirsten Duard, I have Sandy Bansal, I have Karen FM, a whole lot, and I have a team in Lagos too. So now, whatever we are able to achieve, it's not just one person; it's a collective. It's a team effort, and it's teamwork that makes the dream work. And that's how it's supposed just to be. And that's how we can actually effectively do things. And one more thing, sir, you made mention because the stigma of TVET is one core thing that we've dealt with at the TVET forum over the years while you were there, sir. And one thing that I wanted to come from your mouth. Now, right now, from what you said now, I want to reiterate that uh, choosing TVET shouldn't be that it's a second class module for those that couldn't pass the physics and their math and their English or whatever, but it's another option that you can take, not just that it is a lower option. Can you say something about that, sir?
Yeah, that's very, very good. I just give you the concrete evidence. In
Good.
India, people are losing job. Who is losing job? those who are physics graduate, chemistry graduate, those who are financial graduate, those who are working in the service sector, all are losing jobs. Those who are not losing job, plumber, you need them. Automobiles, you need them. Electrician, you need them. Carpenter, you need them. They are poorly paid because of the social stigma, but at least they will not lose their job.
mm,
Skill
mm.
always, you this challenging time, they are still, they can retain their job.
Mm.
That's why I will say we always have our mental framing. We don't see the reality. When there was a financial crisis in Europe and worldwide, who lost? The white people lost the job. So that's why, in that sense, the most important point which I will say is that the if you possess some skill, you have always can fight it and bounce back. The only problem was in some country we had a stigma, social stigma to undermine this one. But now the situation has come. It is no more manual skill. It is cognitive skill and manual skill combined. It is giving a new hope, and it is no more dead end. Like you finish your program at diploma level, that's all. No, it will go to the degree level, master level, even PhD level. So vertical mobility, horizontal mobility already being ensured. All the countries slowly realize that this is a way of looking the things, and we have really neglected this earlier.
We could go on, and I know you have a whole lot of things to say, but I'm going to say something. You said something briefly at the end of your presentation, but I wanted you to really lay emphasis on that. You're doing a project right now in India, and for the next 2 or 3 minutes, say something about it and let the audience really hold something and why you're getting onto that. What you want to achieve with that.
Yeah. I was really in technical vocational education for 30 to 35 years. As you know, before I was in UNESCO, I was also Director General of Colombo Plant Staff College. I have to confess one thing. It's a self-criticism of myself. Throughout this 30, 35 years, we largely concentrate our work on an organized sector and industrial sectors. We have given very less importance to the rural sectors. That's why on reality, the number of effort projects and programs which has been still going on, I have seen largely it is urban based, industrial based. Agricultural based, rural based is not being given due importance. Very recently, when I see America and Europe and others, there is a revival thinking coming up that how science and technology can reach to the remotest places by using this, different technology. That's I say precision farming, vertical farming, less water farming. You talk about renewable energy to be reached out. All these thing issues are coming, like how a drone can be very effective in in predicting where there are water scarcity, where the disease will come, how you will going to that. So in a way that science and technology, agriculture and rural sectors were separated. No, now it is integrated. But the reality is, TVET institution internationally and locally, they neglected this one. So that's why what we have seen, there was a silent migration. If you go to Africa, you will see that silent migration is the girls and boys from a rural village leaving their village for job in an urban city. This is a common phenomenon. After doing something, they will be promoted, then they will leave the country, go to either Middle East or Europe or Canada, like that. I have no objection when you take migration as your economic, money. Good. you can get a good salary, and it's a voluntarily you are taking the migration. But when you are doing forced migration, which most of the case these boys are doing, is really a distress. When it becomes refugee problem, people get alerted. They say, hey, there's so much refugee. This refugee has not come in one day. There was silent migration before. What you are doing at that time? Why you have not corrected at the source? Why TVET institution can be not effective at the local route? With this idea, I have chosen a remote place in India, Bangladesh border, the Sundarban, which has a climatic challenges, which have a renewable energy challenges, which is an ideal place to test whether skill can transform their life or not. So I have, in my dream, I'm thinking, why not we capacitate them, we train them, particularly youth and girls, and give them science and technology weapon. They don't have to leave their place. They can transform their place by mere skill. And that skill and education, we like to impart them. So that's why my project name is Developing Sustainable Model Village Using Skill as a Driver. Means I will create some model village where skill will be the driver, and they will transform it. So that is the dream. Once the pilot project will be successful, I want to replicate in Africa, in Latin America, and other parts where we will make a network, that's sustainable model village network.
Wow. Wow. That is so awesome. Yeah, what I took out of that is you don't necessarily leave a place. You can transform the place with skill, and that is exactly what it is. Well, I'm a living witness for this, and I don't want to talk too much about that, but I've built skills over time, and that's what I've actually been able to use to do everything that I do. Without the skills, but it's not really the certificate, though I'm getting a whole lot of them, but the skills are what really makes the difference. And I love the fact that you have this initiative to make that really bold step, because now what you're going to do, like you said, is a model project. And by the time the results starts to come out, every other country from everywhere would have no choice but to turn over and say, yeah, Shyamal said this. We have to use it. Thank you so much, Shyamal. Karen, do you have any other thing to say? I'm already filled. Yeah.
Oh no, we're just so thankful, but we've got to run to the next one.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. So it's really inspiring. So Shyamal, thank you so much. So we'll get back to you soon. So to our viewers, quickly, we're going to say this now. We're going to start another session in the next 3 minutes. Just go to our Facebook page, like our Facebook page. You'll be able to watch all our sessions from now on till the end of the whole 24 hours. Now, so you have it on Facebook, like our YouTube, Teachathon.net, like our Twitter page, our Teachathon.net. You're going to see all of what we are beaming. So everything will be going live to those sources right now. So see you on the next slide. So thank you, Shyamal, for the time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.